So carrying on, I got cut off in the last video. We were at the edge of the slide, and he'd sat down, and he waits there for a second, thinking about his fall. Now, when he does slide down, we'll think about the path he takes. He goes quite slowly at the start. His height doesn't change that dramatically, that quickly. And it takes him 4.5 seconds in total, so he doesn't change that quickly at the start. It goes quite slowly. Then it goes pretty fast, and then his way stays at 3 feet towards the end for a little while with that flat bit of the slide. Okay, and if we were to draw that on the graph, well, I'll take that a bit slower. So he goes quite slowly here. Okay, speeds up as he goes down the quick bit, and then as it flattens out, he goes to here. So what you can see, really, is that the path he takes when he slides looks a bit like the slide he slid down. And that's true of the whole question, actually. If you kind of squint your eyes a little bit, the drawing that we've made looks a little bit like the slide itself. Yeah. Lots of people drew a straight line for that slide at the end, and it should have been a curved one, and it was -1 point, so you lost a mark for each kind of mistake you made. So if you're not sure how it was marked, that's sort of how. Okay, we'll look at the next question, which is an algebra question. So in this question, question 8, most people expanded the brackets first, which is fine, so you get 9x minus 36 as the numerator, denominator doesn't change, and then here you get 12x minus 8 as the numerator, and the denominator doesn't change. From here, we don't like the fact that there's fractions, so we kind of want to get rid of them somehow. We might times both sides by 3, because timesing both sides by 3 will get rid of the denominator on the right-hand side. Timesing the left-hand side by 3 is like timesing it by 3 over 1. Timesing the right-hand side by 3, we could write it as the same thing, if we wanted. But notice how this is 12x minus 8 divided by 3, so timesing this side by 3 will cancel out that division, so we should just be left with 12x minus 8. On the left-hand side, well, we know when we times fractions, we times numerators and denominators. So timesing the numerator by 3 will be timesing 9x by 3, and then timesing -36 by 3, which will give you 27x minus 108. And then looking at the denominators, we've got 1 times 4, which is just 4. From here, you still have a fraction that you want to kind of get rid of, so you might times both sides by 4. Timesing by 4 will be like timesing by 4 over 1. And on the right-hand side, we don't really have a fraction, so we can just write it as timesing by 4. And because we're going to times both terms by 4 on the right-hand side, you might put this in brackets. Okay, so since we had 27x minus 108 divided by 4, if we times that side by 4, the 4's cancel, and we're just left with 27x minus 108. Expanding the bracket there, timesing both terms, we get 48x minus 32. Now we have a simple linear equation that we can solve in the usual way. We might add 32 to both sides to give you 27x minus 76 is equal to 48x. And then you might take away 27x, leaving you with -76 is equal to 21x. Dividing both sides by 21 will leave you with x is equal to -76 over 21. Okay. Right, now a different way to do this, a slightly quicker way, would be to realise that timesing by 4 and timesing by 3, which is what we did in the method we just looked at, is the same as timesing by 12. So we could times the whole equation by 12. Timesing the left-hand side by 12 would be the same as timesing by 12 over 1. Timesing the right-hand side by 12 will be the same as timesing by 12 over 1. Now we know how to times fractions together. We times their numerators and times their denominators, and we can cross-cancel if it's appropriate. So here, common factors on the numerator and denominator, there's a common factor of 4, sorry. 12 divided by 4 is 3, 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then looking at the right-hand side, the common factor is 3. So we can cross-cancel like that. Now we just multiply numerators together. So this will end up being, well, it's going to be 3 times 9, which is going to be 27 brackets x minus 4. So this is really 3 times 9 times x minus 4. You don't have to times it by 3 inside and outside the brackets. You just times that side by 3, times the term by 3, gives you 3 times 9, which is 27 brackets x minus 4. The same applies to the right-hand side. Be 4 times 4 times 3x minus 2, which is going to be 16 brackets 3x minus 2. Now you can just expand the left-hand side and expand the right-hand side, and you get the same thing that we did before. Okay, so this is another way to do it, slightly quicker, I think, maybe more room for error if you make a mistake with your cancelling. Okay, and finally we're going to look at this question, this simultaneous equation question. We're going to look at elimination, the elimination method. So, well, actually I'm just going to look at the elimination method. Right, we need to make either the x is the same or the y is the same. Now for me, I think it would be easier to make the x's the same. So I could times the equation 1, I could times the equation 1 by 5, giving me 10x minus 10x minus 10y equals 30. Then I could times equation 2 by 2, giving you 10x plus 14y equals 14. Now, lots of people got to this stage or something similar. We might call this equation 3 and equation 4. And so I could then do equation 3 take away equation 4. The problem most people had was in this next stage. So 10x take away 10x is 0x, we know that. Negative 10y take away 14y. Lots of people wrote this as 4 or negative 4, but it's not. Negative 10y take away 14y is going to be negative 24y. And then the right-hand side, well, 30 take away 14 is 16. So lots of people got the previous part right, but then when they did the subtraction of the equations, they got it wrong. From here, negative 24y, well, that means that y is going to be negative 16 over 24. Simplifying this fraction leaves you with negative 2/3. So y is negative 2/3. We can now use this and sub y into, I don't know, equation 1 looks nicer. So we can write 2x minus 2 lots of y, and y is negative 2/3, so it's negative 2 lots of negative 2/3, and that's equal to 6. So negative 2 times by negative 2/3, well, that's going to be 4/3. Okay. Then we might take away 4/3 from both sides. So this is going to be 6 is 18/3, and 18/3 take away 4/3 is going to be 14/3. And then if 2x is equal to 14/3, you can divide both sides by 2. You could write the answer straight away as being 14 over 6. Or you could write it as 14/3 divided by 2 over 1, which is 14/3 times a half. Cancelling would give you 14 over 6, or if you cancel, you're left with 7 over 3 as your final answer. So x is 7 over 3. Okay, we'll leave it there. I hope that was useful. You should now go on to look at your calculator paper and using the same sort of idea. So pausing the video where appropriate, making sure that you have your answers in front of you.